Welcome, everybody, to Court Cousins, episode 67. My name is Kyle. I'm joined, as always, by my handsome, my witty cousin, Jayson the Peach. Peach, I would say we've got a slightly above average show. Tell the second cousins out there what's going on this episode of Court Cousins.
Well, we got a mini episode, if you will, because it's not basketball season, so we're going to make some stuff up. We've got the Are You KCP Check In with its second installment today. We've got the social media roundup, as always. Saddle up for that. Then Wager Time making a comeback, not to be confused with Wagner Time, but they're similar. And then it ends with the robust and very flavorful large ending. So stick around for that. You know what I've noticed? I've been watching a lot of stuff on YouTube. I've been looking at looking a little bit at our algorithm. You always hear the people saying, oh, there's a lot of people watching, not subscribed.
Yeah.
Here's me telling you, like, you're checking it out. And people like the short ones. They're not tuning in to the full show. They're just liking the cut up parts. But
the short kings are on a rise. Yeah.
Yeah. And I get that we all have a short time on our lunch break, but just watch like 15 minutes when you got, and then it saves your spot. You go right back to it. Sometimes I start watching something at work, and then when I get home, I finish watching it here. It's let's go.
Yeah.
You're missing good stuff.
Because I'm lazy and I haven't been breaking up the episodes. But sometimes I get some juice and then I really cut them up, and people love them. People love them, Peach. But you're right. They're not liking and subscribing at the rates that they should if they're being good second cousins and trying to spread the gospel of the Orlando Magic out into the universe. So, just spread. This is the rising, right? We're coming up. The Magic are coming up. If you spread this content, we'll get more fans on board, and we'll all be having a good time. And because of some very important listeners, we're all having a good time right now. Shout out to all the All-Stars and second cousins over on the Patreon. Magic Player History, Bolby the Don, Paulo and Franz's Warmth, Dylan Holden, Drummy Drumble D, Matthew Bell, Dan Young, Gloria and Damien, and Connor. Thank you very much for your contributions. Peace, you got a shout out? Did I interrupt you?
No, I found my Matthew Bell over here.
Oh, we've moved away from the bell metaphor because the team seems to have moved away from it a little bit. You don't hear about the ring the bell plays anymore. That's just the first year thing.
Hear about that anymore. Yeah, maybe it was. I don't know. I mean, when you're not a team that's gonna win a lot of games, you got to be able to try to do something.
Yes.
And at that point, I think that's part of what Coach Mosley's been building here. Is first, I just want to get guys to try and hustle and get going on that end. And if that starts to fall into place, then the wins will start coming in the win category. And we'll talk about the win category more later in the show.
Beautiful transition, Peach. Let's get right into it. Wonderful tease. You better stick around, you beautiful people out there. Let's get right into it, though, because it's been a while since we talked, Peach. And we always do on this show a social emotional check-in. We try to get into our feels, be a little vulnerable. Us men, we don't do that enough. And I know 99.999%. There's one female watching. One female. So it's probably someone that is like married to someone we know. It might be my wife. I don't know. But we got to talk about our feels, and we switched it up. Now we're doing the Are You KCP check-in to give us a little bit more content, Peach. So, are you KCP right now, Peach? How you doing?
Well, I'm not getting too much into my feels because right now what I'm feeling is hot. It's hot. And that's why I've chosen this NBA Hoops Hot Signatures of KCP, who just does his signature with the KCP. That's a wise move for him. I usually don't like it when guys go with the shortened initials in a signature, but in his case, that's a whole heap of name. Go ahead with the shortened version. But it's a hot signature, and it's hot here. I went to go run an errand earlier. It's 103 degrees on my car when I get in there. At one point, I saw 109 on that meter. I just checked my phone a second ago, 105. It's warm, my friend. And I got to tell you, it is something else. But it was good to see you reach up there as you're reaching up for the mic. I see you've got the wedding ring on.
Oh, yes, I do.
Lest we forget, the last show we did, I was in the attic with you, was in town for the wedding. That was that whole trip was massive, man. There was a lot going on for everybody. I think everybody's individual story of that like week and a half period would be very interesting. All for their own different reasons. But aside from the heat, things are going pretty well. It's a lot of off-season stuff going on for me at work. So, just kind of getting ready. Almost want the seasons to just kind of start now so we can stop talking about stuff and just get to stuff that matters.
Yes.
And we're in that like wet mud where it's just kind of like we're just trudging through. Like there's just, can we just get to it already? Can we get the games that are played that mattered? I don't know. But how are you feeling for the are you KCP check-in, sir?
I had a lot of
Freshly
ways.
back from Ireland.
Yes. It was grand. Sure, it was grand. I had a lot of different ways I could go with this. I did, I could have easily picked the same family image that I selected last week because we have had the wedding since the last show. And man, the wedding was just spectacular. Being surrounded by your closest friends and family and feeling the love of everybody. I very much felt that love, and I could have had that as my photo. And then I went to Ireland and got more family love, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But my KCP check-in today is KCP signing on the dotted line for that Orlando Magic contract, $22 million a year. I wish I was signing multi-million-dollar contracts, but I've selected this because it's back to school time for me, Peach, and I am getting into the paperwork again. I'm getting back into the lesson plans. I'm doing a lot of the reading and the writing, and also, since the marriage, we're now like, things are getting combined. I'm like combining bank state accounts and we're paying, our utility, all the things together. So we're switching all types of different services and looking at different credit cards. So there's a lot of paperwork happening right now. It's a little bit daunting. It makes me feel a little anxious of all the things I have on the to-do list. And, oh man, I didn't get that utility and you still need to put that over on the new account. But it's exciting because it's kind of the beginning formation of Nadra and my family, knock on wood. And yeah, so that's an exciting time mixed with a little bit of anxiety as I'm looking down the barrel of going back to school. Maybe shouldn't use a gun metaphor when we're talking about schools in this day and age, but there it is.
Well, barrel doesn't have to mean gun.
No, I just did in my twisted mind. That's all. Got to make a school shooter joke right off the top as a teacher. It's going to be great. Can't wait to get back. Okay, how do you transition from that now?
Well, I don't know, but good luck.
Maybe no context Wagners. I mean, there's no context. Let's go right into social media roundup where we have, I do not know this person's handle. It's many, I don't know the signatures or characters. It's some type of Asian characters, I think. I'm not sure. Don't kill me if I'm wrong, all right? Karen, I see you. I see you trying to pop up in the comments, Karen. I don't know. I'm just assuming. It's no context Wagner's. You have Moritz here, like the upward nostril shot at the Eiffel Tower, Piche. I put this in. I still have no idea why you want to comment on it. What's going on?
Well, I think people should look up this little video that Moritz took. This is him and Franz. They were just wheeling around Paris, checking stuff out. Here he's asking Franz what the name of this building is and what is the structure behind him. So they were just completely being goofballs and having a good time. And it was fun. It was fun to watch them. I know you always like crack on me. Oh, you're not going to watch it. I watched a little bit more Olympic basketball than I thought I would. There wasn't anything else going on, so I had it on a few times. And I was watching the Wagners do work and watching Franz put all of France on a poster, even though France got their revenge in the medal round. But yeah, it was just an enjoyable. If you get a chance to go check out these videos that Moritz was putting out while they were over there, it's just a good way to access athletes that we didn't have that stuff when I was growing up. I never got to see what those guys were doing. So it's just fun to see those kind of moments. It's wholesome, feels fun.
It's and the Magic are kind of deeply connected with that because of Dennis Scott and Shaq back in the day, who were really, they had the TV show. D3 was always carrying around the film camera, the old school recorder, and Shaq was a TV personality and an online personality before it even really happened. So they were kind of the vanguard of that, and now everyone's doing it. We have access. It's a lot of fun to get a peek into the lives of these guys who I put so much emotional energy into during the year, just to get to know them a little bit better. And we got an endearing ass team. You talked about the Olympics, Piche. I did not get to watch as much of the Olympics as I would have liked, being on my honeymoon and all. It would have been I did watch part of the final at a pub on the coast of Ireland with traditional Irish music being played live, and it was lovely. Just the final. But that was the only one I was able to put on the calendar for Nadra. I'm like, hey, we've got to be here for the final. Otherwise I thought it would be like, hey, babe, I know you have this day planned, but like Germany's playing Serbia at like 7 o'clock, so we really need to drop it. And I didn't really want to do that, to be honest. I wanted to be enjoying my honeymoon and not watching Olympic basketball. But you brought up some Wagner conversation about the Olympics, so let's go to that. This first one here, I have it from Orlando Maniac, I believe, Orlando Man. Hey, NBA, maybe if you put some smaller markets like the Orlando Magic on TV more, we wouldn't have to rely on international play for a majority of people to see how good the young players we have are. And he's reacting to a quote from Dwayne Wade, who was commentating a lot of these games. Sidebar, thought he did not do a good job. It was not good. I did not enjoy it. Yes, and Peach is surprised. I'd like to hear what you think about that. Dwayne Wade said, I put on my Instagram that I've just become a big fan of Franz Wagner. You don't get to see Orlando Magic a lot on TV, ... This guy has a big, bright future in front of him, so just the chance to sit there and watch the pros do what they do best, it's incredible. That's Dwayne Wade. High praise from a champion in Dwayne Wade, an all-time, well, not all-time, but, a Hall of Famer, big-time USA basketball player. What say you about Dwayne Wade's praise, Peach?
Dwayne Wade sounds like a casual. You can't tell me that man doesn't have access to the NBA TV app and can watch whatever the game he fucking wants. He's Dwayne Wade. Like, you can't tell me he's just limited to whatever they show on regular cable. Come on, D Wade. His take is meant to be kind of positive, like, oh boy, it would be nice if more people could see him. But to me, it just comes off as you should have heard of this guy, D Wade. He's not new. He wasn't a rookie this past year. Like, he's been in the league a little bit now. Like, he's not a household name, but in Germany he's a household name. Mm-hmm. And in Central Florida he's a household name. So you're from Miami, or you were in Miami a lot of your career. I'm sure they know who he is. So get on board, bro.
Yeah, is this like a slight backhanded compliment from Dwayne Wade? Just like, yeah, Magic don't get on TV, so I just heard of this kid. It's like, bro,
right? I think that's kind of what he's getting at. Is it's like, oh, well, they're not really a good team, but they got this guy. It's kind of interesting to watch, I suppose. Yeah, I didn't care for his commentary, I guess, but it didn't offend me because the whole time every game I'm watching just feels like an exhibition. It feels like I'm watching an all-star game, and the guys are playing a little harder than a typical all-star game because you can tell they want to win. There is some defense played, which is cool. Yeah. But to me, I don't care who wins. So like, I was okay with the casualness of his sidebars, but they weren't well timed. Sometimes he'd start a long story at an inappropriate time. I've seen worse, but
it seemed very haphazard. I mean, not to say that I could do a better job, but he didn't really seem to know a lot of the guys except the kind of big-time NBA players, and I don't know. I wasn't drawn in by the commentary, but that's neither here nor there. I want to make a Franz Wagner point. There had to have been
someone available that could have filled those shoes better than D Wade, and I definitely
might. I offer you one, Jayson the Pichet.
No, you need to get a name in there. They needed to have a player who's played before, maybe an former Olympic player. Like, I mean, it's the
Piche, not a big name on the very popular Court Cousins podcast. I mean, I know they're not on TV a lot, but the guy's got talent.
maybe if we had more TV time, then maybe
get us on TNT. What the fuck?
D Wade, check our show out. I'm sure you'll say the same things about
us. So I'm gonna give an unpopular take right now, Peach. I'm sorry. It's been burning a little bit. And we touched on it last week when we're in studio, and we talked about the Franz extension, and that's wonderful. And Franz made the all Olympic second team, which I guess is a thing they do now. So congratulations on that. And I noticed, a lot of time when Twitter, some would put something out about Wemby or that would maybe slight Franz, especially in that France game where he kind of didn't really show up and had some rough patches there at the end. People were coming to his defense, which I respect. But I also want to, let's offer a little bit of critical lens, right? I mean, Franz, 18.5 points per game, 5.8 boards, 2.5 assists, two steals. Tremendous. And he did all the things, Peesh, that we know this man can do. He got to the hoop at times, finished with both hands. He was physical. He rebounded really well throughout the Olympics. And he's an underrated defender. He's a great defender. He doesn't get enough credit for that. But we just maxed out this man. And I'm over here thinking like, okay, yeah, he scored points, but I knew he could do that. You know, a guy named Kawamura Yuki was the third leading scorer in the Olympics, so I'm not putting a whole lot of credence necessarily into the scoring numbers when you're playing teams like Japan along the way. But I don't know. I did watch in completion the Serbia game, which was the bronze medal game, and even though he ended with a decent amount of points, about 18 as well, I just feel like he was kind of an afterthought there. He did try to push the issue a little bit at the end, but there was too much floating. There was too much just hanging out in the quarter. I don't know if he was the top 5 best players in that, most impactful players in that game. And before you jump down my throat, I mean, you had Jokic, of course. Bogdan Bogdanovic played a stellar game. A guy named Vasily Micic, who I believe is in the league, he killed Germany. And I think Moritz had a more steady and impactful game and shot the ball better. So yeah, if you want to bump Franz up there, but for me, like, I want him taking control. I want to see that, especially after the Game 7 that we saw. And yeah, we gave him the max. So are we still feeling great on the max when the shooting woes from 3 continue at 20% from 3 in the Olympics? If you're going to max the guy, why did we have to do it then? Okay, people, you build, good rapport with him. But what happens with Jalen Suggs right now? That hasn't gotten done. And Jalen Suggs got to be looking at this whole situation like, shit, man, I could shoot the hell out of the ball. I'm an all-defensive team player. I want the max too. If you're going to give it to Franz Wagner, who can't shoot right now, and that's fair, why shouldn't I get it? My game is expanding like crazy. And then we're in a conundrum of you have 3 max guys. Yes, it's the fun max. It's the rookie max, so you don't really have to worry too much, but that's 75%, possibly 80 probably with Paulo being an all-NBA guy. That's of 3 players. So I don't know. I thought, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, Peesh, but I just thought that the negotiations with Franz might go a little differently and we get him for a little bit under the max. And I am really, really concerned about his shooting. I'm extremely concerned about his shooting. In the playoffs next year, which we hope to be in, I mean, teams can just collapse on that. And that was our biggest problem. I know we added KCP, and Jalen's great with the shooting now, but what happened to Franz, man? What happened to Franz Wagner and his shooting? He was a 35% guy in his first couple of years. He's like falling off the face of a cliff. I'm worried, Peesh. Can you talk me off the ledge, man?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why you worry yourself with such things. Obviously, his shooting does need to improve. It was better at one time. At some point, he kind of became more of a guy who wants to drive all the time. He's very good at getting to the basket, so I could see why you'd want to do that. But a lot of times when you're doing that, you're not thinking shoot first, right?
Right.
And if he's put in a catch and shoot situation, that's not really a strength of his game. It would be nice to see him be able to add that, but that's not really what he does. I'm okay with him getting this max because I feel like if he doesn't prove he's a max by the time we get to the next one, the unfun max, as you would, I guess, say, that's when he would take the discount to stay on as part of the team and keep things going and be able to make things affordable for everybody. Whereas right now we can afford it. Yeah. So it seems like a good thing to do, even as a goodwill statement, to say, look, we're signing your brother back. We're bringing him back. We got you back. We're giving you the max. Like, make that paper now. And if you have to take a cut later so that you can pay other guys to make a championship team, that's when you worry about it. That's when you get concerned about it. I mean, look, Jalen Suggs, yeah. I mean, I think he should be in the conversation for the max, but he's played a lot less games. His development has been fantastic. Look, if you had to choose, gun to your head, you going with you want Franz or you want Suggs?
I want Suggs right now.
It could be a coin flip, but it's at least close, right?
Yeah.
So if you can make the excuse that Suggs hasn't played as many games and has been out with some injury troubles here and there, Franz has put in the work. He's been in most games he's been in the league so far. So that to me means something.
No, you're right.
This is a small margin of error almost almost a topic that needs to be brought up in the offseason because there's no games to talk about.
Yeah.
But if you could see him out there playing a little more, look, Olympic basketball is completely different than the NBA, right? Because Schrader runs things.
Yes.
I mean, he looks like an amazing
He made the
player.
first team, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Right. And rightfully so, because he's a completely different player there.
Mhm.
And I like to compare him to like, I think like Markel Fultz could do that if he was given the keys to a team
To
and
like
just let
Latvia.
run.
Just you're running.
But it's not, but it ain't that kind of, that's not the way our offense is set up. It's not what we're set up to do. We're not give the ball to this guy and let him create almost everything. You know, it's like, it's a different type of offense. It's a different type of play. It's all different. So it's good to see your players play well, right? But there were some players playing well that like are in the league, like the Vasil, right?
Vasily
that like, okay,
Mičić, yeah.
we don't really know him as playing in the NBA. He does, but like, you know, he's found his role and his niche is met. So it's hard to put a ton of stock into the good play there. Because I mean, look, Kevin Durant is like the all-time leading scorer in Team USA basketball history, but like, who cares? Is Kevin Durant one of the best like 5 players of all time? No.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even
he's probably not
players.
even top 10.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well,
But,
we know
like,
that with
doesn't
Evan
matter, he
Fournier.
fills it up.
We know that with Evan
Right.
Fournier. He would go over there and be, killing it with France, and then I would fool myself every summer. This is going to be the year that he comes back and he's a borderline all-star for the Magic, and then it would be the same old thing. But all right, you've talked me off the ledge a little bit. We can't absorb the max contract now. We're showing faith in the guy. Maybe the next time is when it comes around. I hope that he just develops into a max player and the shooting comes around. What's your level of concern, ladies and gentlemen, with Franz Wagner's shooting and the three-point shooting in particular? But all the shooting has been down. I'm concerned. And are you crazy like me? Would you, if gun to your head, would you take Franz Wagner or Jalen Suggs if you had to choose? Would you be like me and choose Jalen Suggs? I just like the trajectory that Jalen's on a little bit more, and we already have an awesome forward in Paulo Banchero. So that was kind of, I wasn't necessarily comparing just players to players there. It was also the situation. A little bit more Olympics, Peach. A little bit more Olympics here. You have Tatum.
I didn't actually watch the U.S. in the final because I don't like the USA basketball team. I didn't really want us to lose.
Get him. He's not a Patriot. Get him, everybody.
I didn't want us to lose to France. So I did, kind of hope they won once I realized it was France in there. I didn't want them to win it in their home Olympics with, just two tall, rangy bums.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not, I don't understand. Like I see all the celebrating and I'm just like, good. You did what you were supposed to do.
True.
You're a team full of NBA all-stars going over to play against, some teams that like half their teams are farmers in the offseason. Like it's not that impressive. Like I know it's gotten a lot better because the game has grown globally.
Yes.
But they're still not caught up to compete with the backcourt of Steph Curry and LeBron James. And who the hell would be?
Yeah.
You could put that team in the NBA and they'd probably rip house on everybody. So I'm just not that impressed when we win. It's just sort of like, great. You're supposed to win. It's only news if you lose.
So what was news though is this thing from Jayson Tatum here. You have a text thread, a mock text thread right here. And so was this taken from Derek White really getting more minutes in the Olympics than Tatum and Jaylen Brown? And so
somebody asked, you being for real? And so somebody sends a picture of Tatum sitting on the bench. And then that person says, what's that mean? And then the person replies, it means I'm not playing.
I get it now. I get it. That's hilarious.
It's funny. It's funny. It's definitely really strange to think that like guys like him and Halliburton don't see time. Mm-hmm. That's how nice that team is.
Right.
Right. That's how nice that team is. And it's another one of those things where it's like, Tatum's version of what he does isn't what fits what the USA team is doing out there. When you've got Durant, LeBron, and Curry in those swing spots being the focal point of shit, we don't need Jayson Tatum. We just keep him on the bench in case someone gets hurt. That's a luxury, man, because as much of a non-Tatum fan as I am, I respect that the guy has talent and his ball facilitating and everything like that is very good. But on the USA team, there just wasn't a place for it. And That's why it's so ridiculous that we celebrate the U.S. winning gold, because guys like Halliburton and him, arguably, two of the top maybe 25 players in the NBA, just didn't see the court. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, this one was odd to me. It's I didn't understand why this became a story. How the hell are you letting this become a story? Yeah, Jayson Tatum, you're a really great player. You just won the NBA championship. Congratulations. Derek White is out there getting more minutes than you, but that was positional. Like you said, Peesh, this is a team of all-time greats at their last run at it. Of course they're going to be playing. It's like a nod to the old heads in the room. Like the old heads are going to get it. And Jayson Tatum, in your logical mind, you got to know, all right, the next team is going to be me. It's going to be me. And just be patient, man. Just be patient. Enjoy the experience. But, athletes got to be programmed different. I just didn't understand why it all came through the media, and there was like shit about his dad complaining. I'm like, man, this seems like some middle school shit, and I'm not back at school yet. Is it September 1? Nah, what's going on with this? That was very odd. Something that did excite me, though. Can I go on to the next one just to keep it moving?
You can't. Basically, this is just about how Tatum is a bitch and everyone is soft. It's just
come
funny
on, Boston, bring the noise.
He's got to become like the scapegoat for like a not cool guy. And so I feel like everyone's just piling on. But in this case, it's unnecessary.
Yeah. All right. So this would be interesting here. This is from Kicks. This is them taking an article from The Guardian, which is this is the title here. Enhanced Games, audacious plan for sporting event without drug testing. The Olympic Committee said we were a joke is a quote from this article, apparently. And so this is an Olympic-style competition called the Enhanced Games that allows performance-enhancing drugs and is supposed to begin in 2025. Outside of my worry for the athletes and their health, this is much-watched TV, right? Like this is back to Bonds and Sosa and McGuire just ripping balls out. That's the last time I watched the MLB, Sosa and McGuire going at it. That was the shit. That baseball was great then when guys, huge dudes with no necks were just tearing the freaking leather off the ball out of the stadium. So I'm all in.
Throwing 100 in the seventh inning.
Yeah, dude, bring it.
Let's do it. Yeah, look, here's the deal. There's plenty of people that, you put your body on the line, even just a common worker, right? Like as you start to hit your 40s and 50s, your knees are going, from all that hard work you did. It just happens, but you see an ex-wrestler sometime and they're like a shell of them former selves. They gave it all up athletically. That's your choice, right? But sometimes you find fame and fortune along the way. These Olympic athletes, they're popular for like 2 weeks, right? Yeah. Like how many Olympic athletes can you still name from like a week ago? Like not a ton probably, because we don't care about it anymore. It goes out of the news cycle. So really show me something. Let's see something impressive. Could you imagine some of the stuff that like the gymnasts are doing if they were like on steroids, how much higher they could jump, how much more horse they could pummel? I mean, this would be amazing, my friend. I'm on board for this. And all the track and field things would be amazing. I think even a lot of the sports would be great. I think women's rugby would be a must watch at this point. If you like that woman like breaking away from a shit tackle in whatever kind of rugby sevens, or I don't even know what that sport is, for crying out loud. But all the stuff would be much better if people juiced up and said, what is the human body capable of doing? I want to see it at its max capacity. If there was a simulator for that, you're watching. If it was allowed in a league, you'd at least check it out. And if they're going to do a whole games on that, I'm in. And of course, the Olympic Committee wants to shut it down, right? Because this would immediately make them not valuable. People be like, oh, well, that's like the PG sporting event where like everyone minds their P's and Q's and no one smokes weed and it's bull. And then everybody else will be over watching this fun one where like people are doing outrageous shit. People probably lifting cars at that point over their head in the clean and jerk, which would be just amazing.
Oh, yes.
Look, and I'm just coming with these up off the top of my head. I was not ready to discuss how far a discus could possibly be thrown. It might not be allowed to be done in a stadium. They may have to do it out in open grass now because someone could get hurt. I'm here for that. A javelin throw? Someone could throw it out of the stadium? That would be amazing. Let's do it. Let's see what the human body can do. I'm all for it. Come on.
Oh man, the big takeaway.
I'm ready to juice. Yeah, I'm ready to juice for America. Are you? Let's go.
Yeah, it gives us all hope. Man. Oh, man. That you need to get on the marketing team for this. You need to reach out and be involved, Peach.
I'm ready. I'm here.
All right, shall we get back to the Orlando Magic?
Unless you got something that could top what I just said. But I don't know if you can do it.
No, I gotta walk away from that, man. Let the mic drop on that one. All right, so next one. Here we go. This one is the new hashtag, Peach. Big news. This is how we're grasping right now. This is what's happening. People are putting out hashtags and we're talking about it. Make it magic. Orlando Magic announce their new marketing brand campaign, Make It Magic. Sweet. I guess I'll just do that instead when I want people to maybe watch a video. Make it magic. Is there some meaning that I'm missing here, Floridians? I mean, make it magic. Yeah, we're gonna make it magic, right? That's it, right? There's no.
What do you need?
I don't know.
Magic
Is there like an allusion to a previous
was that
season
too
or
amazing?
something? I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, well, Magic Together was our old one.
Yeah, that one.
And that was like the
not
thing
great.
that like you could put down and it would put the little logo behind it on Twitter and you'd be like, yeah, that's our thing. It's not as cool as some teams, but it's there. This is a step in the right direction. This feels like it makes a little more sense. I mean, there's some other ones I saw that they were narrowing it down to I may have liked better, but I'm okay with Make It Magic.
Are you sure? Because you can't fucking say it.
Make It Magic. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's all right. What are you supposed to do? It's kind of an odd last name, right? It's not. There's no S on the end of it. A lot of people like to pluralize. There's no. You don't want to get too corny with like some disappearing magic joke or all that stuff. So I mean, Make It Magic is fine. Magic Together. That felt like it made more sense in the years where we weren't as good. Where it was just like, if you were using that hashtag,
you're a real one.
You're a real one. So, and now it's like we're getting some of those bandwagon people on here who like, they maybe aren't together. They're just they want to make it magic, but they're not really like they're not in yet.
Yeah.
So let's make it magic with a little bit more people and grow the fan base. That's how it's done. Eventually, after another decade or two rolls by, some of those people that came on now, they'll still be with us when we go back to Magic Together. But you know who else loves Magic Together? Mr. Devin Kennedy.
Oh, you're going there. He's off script, ladies and gentlemen.
It's off script a little, but it should have been there because he says one last hashtag Magic Together tweet. Top 4 in the East loading.
I see what you did there. You're right.
He commented on the new Make It Magic branding, and this man, he's not really connected to the team other than the fact that I'm sure he's friends with some of the guys on the squad. So for him to say that top 4 in the East loading, I think where Devin Kennedy's money is going to go this year. On some of those over-under numbers that we're going to talk about in a second.
Well, that's what I was going to do, Peach. This was my transition to that. But now I don't even know what to do now. Now I'm lost, okay? I'm lost.
I felt like it went with the Make It Magic thing because
it does. You're right. You're brilliant. You're a genius. You're transcendent. I'm just here for we could have
gone over the order of these.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's off season. It's off season for everybody. If Make It Magic on the plus side, Peach. Let me jump on. Let me be positive about this. Last year, first year in the playoffs, go to 7 games. That it's awesome, right? The energy is electric. The games that we were down there for Court Cousins night, which is also loading. Check out for that. We're narrowing that down. It was electric in there. It did feel like playoff basketball, especially that Kings game that went down to the wire. And so, you know what? If they get in again and we start building, it is going to start to really make it magic. It's going to make it Magic basketball town again. Because down in Orlando, we were seeing on the buses, Orlando Magic, they had them in the front instead of maybe, their route, which maybe they shouldn't be doing. But it was great. The town you could feel was starting to come back to the team after having migrated away for many losing seasons or just kind of not exciting seasons with Vooch and Aaron Gordon as the headliners and Evan Fournier. Now, get into the playoffs again, make some noise, get to the second round. Now we're really making some magic, and the hashtag starts to work, Peach. So I'm on board now. I'm on board.
All right. I'm glad you talked yourself into it because clearly I didn't.
All right. The outside of the hashtag, which was huge news, I know everyone's blown away out of their seats on that one. The other big piece of news was the schedule release. And the best part of this was just the different media teams for all the franchises digging into their bags and trying to have a competition to release this in the best way, the funniest way possible. Some teams went low. The Magic went high. They showed a lot of respect in their video, made the other teams look cool as they were announcing them. They did a whole cartoon thing with J.I. and Cole Anthony going into the Magic verse, the metaverse, and going from different. They had like a Rick and Morty in there. They had the Ninja Turtles, which we're showing on the screen right now. They had Pokemon, which was awesome because Cole was like, I never want to leave. That was great. And, you know, they highlighted some games along the way. Peach, it wasn't my favorite one. My favorite one was the Brooklyn Nets one because what else do they have to look forward to? And they went out and just interviewed random Long Islanders.
These are not teams, guys.
His avatar logo, no? It was the
Charlie and the Charlie Factory.
My landlord. His father.
The mosquitoes.
It's Target.
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones Part 2.
The Flamin' Cheetos.
Boys and Girls Club.
Isn't it Cleveland Warriors or something?
Basketball with a leg. It's one of the 7 stars in the sky.
I love that when they just take people out of context and try to apply NBA stuff to them. That had me dying laughing. Another team was trying to do some slander and such. I think that was the Pacers. Here are the opponents in a meme, and they kind of course, the Magic were Disney kind of people, Disney nerds with little spiral hats on, those little spinny hats. So that didn't make us look great. But what did you think about this release video? Were you into it?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I particularly like the use of J.I. and Cole.
Yeah.
Right? Because J.I. has not been a part of a lot of the social media stuff.
That's true.
In the past 4 or 5 seasons, despite being a technically rostered player. So now that he's playing more and he's a part of the stuff, I like to see some personality out of him. It's a fun moment. Obviously, I love seeing Cole in there because he loves Pokemon. So if they're going to do that, it's great. Just interesting that, like, you know, they chose these 2 guys, 2 of the longer tenured guys. And I like that. I imagine back in the day, like when the schedule used to come out, it would just, here's the schedule, and it would just come out, and you could, you know, maybe.
How did we do it? How did we do it back then?
It's like now it's this big production for everybody's teams, but you know, the team, and it's great. It's great. It's great for teams. It's good, something for them to connect with fans in the off season in a fun way, get people excited for it. And I like that it's made that change that way because each team has like just an insane team behind them.
Yeah.
People getting ready for it. So it's cool. And I'm sure they look forward to doing it. I know the team at the Stars, they love doing all this stuff like that. So
it keeps it fun. It's another way to express the personality of the team. This one, but though the talk was really about the Magic and the national televised games. So this is Torched by Otterman with a nice Peanuts icon here. The Magic won 47 games with a top 5 core. I don't know what ITL stands for. We're minutes away from. Do you know what that is?
No, I'm just surprised you don't know what it is.
No, yeah.
It's weird, non-important stats.
I thought you were going to surprise me and know a technology acronym that I didn't know. And I was going to be like, holy shit, the universe has switched. Things are different now.
Not in this world, no.
Okay. All right, let's start over. The Magic won 47 games with a top 5 young core ITL. They were minutes away from winning a playoff series. Ran back the same team, not all the way true, Mr. Torched, yet only got 9 national TV games, and God knows how many of those are on NBA TV. I think 5 of them are. Has this ever happened before? And then I'll bring this one up quickly. This is from NBA on ESPN. These NBA teams added the most national TV games to their schedule. Which teams are you most excited for? You've got the Timberwolves, the OKC Thunder, the Knicks, then the Pacers and the Rockets. Pacers add 8, Rockets add 7. I think if we have anywhere to ire, it would be, although according to Torched, we got 9 national TV games. So I guess we got, this is how many more they got. Okay. So, all right. So the Rockets got more added, as did the Pacers. I guess if
Rockets
there's
had 0. So they went from 0 to 7.
Oh,
so.
okay. All right. That's fair then. Because they do have an exciting young team there. I guess if there's any axe to grind, it would be with those, or probably with teams like the Clippers or the Hornets getting any nationally televised games. They just don't need those. Just give them to the Magic.
I just feel like they should mix in it a little bit more equally. Obviously, you do want to see the better teams play. You don't necessarily want to watch last season a game between the Houston Rockets and the Hornets, but I think there's ways they can find to spruce it up. Like if you got to show the Lakers every other game, show me when the Hornets blow through town. You know what I mean? Like at least make one of the teams, one of those teams that gets it. But next season when they start having nationally televised games all week long, this is going to become way less of an issue. I don't feel slighted about being on NBA TV versus blah, blah, blah. Most people get NBA TV on a regular package. It is what it is, man. If you won that first round series and got snubbed, well, then maybe I've got a little more gripe, but it is what it is. At some point towards the end of the season, if we're playing big games that matter, they'll adjust the schedule of what games need to be shown and what don't. So, always prove it. I would always rather be a little disrespected and overshoot what's expected of us than be given 15 or 20 home games and then by the end of the season have people being like, is this team going to make the playoffs? Oh, yeah, I guess they are. You know what I mean? So I'm good with it.
Yeah. I mean,
we got the package right.
Right. I was going to say, selfishly, I don't give a shit. Actually, when they're on national TV is when I can't watch them, although I'm able to go to your never mind. We're not putting that out on. Yeah, there you go. And you know what, Peesh? You know what, second cousins? Guess what games are on national TV? The motherfucking playoffs. And that's where we want to be. Those are the games we want on national TV. We want to be in the shadows lurking, and then playoffs come around and we win that first round series and we go into the second round and we have another strong series, and who knows what happens after that. But who's not sleeping on us? The NBA organization maybe by giving us so few games. Let's go right into wager time, Peesh, because Vegas isn't necessarily sleeping on the Orlando Magic, sir. Talking about playoffs, the Magic with minus 750 odds to make the playoffs, not even really worth betting on with those crappy odds. So I don't know. What would that mean? What would that mean if you minus 750 for gambling?
When you take a look at, they've got obviously, I guess this is most of the top East teams in their mind, or is this just a weird collection? Because I don't know why the Hornets are in there. But, when you take a look at it, obviously the Sixers got a lot better. The Knicks are still going to be there. The Bucks are still going to win a lot of regular season games. Cavs still got pretty much the same group they had. Pacers are still up and coming, as are we. And you can never really count out the Heat. So it makes sense to have us right there amongst all those guys ready to get there. I mean, you can't make money betting on the Orlando Magic anymore with that long shot bet. I think that time may have ended.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to touch this, but it reminds me of the video of Paulo from First Take when Stephen A. asked him, do you feel slighted? And he said, he listed some of the top teams, and we feel like we're right there. And Vegas agrees because it's, like you said, Sixers, Knicks, Bucks, and Cavs with the crappiest odds. Oh, the Celtics aren't even on here. Those would be their top 5 teams. Vegas thinks we're the 6th best team in the East according to these odds, which, again, that's okay. We like to be there and then sneak into the top 4, get that home court advantage, and we're not far from it according to Vegas. Let's get into one that's I'll actually make you have a decision on here, and it's the wins. Over-under wins for the Orlando Magic. We ended with 47 last year, I believe, and the over-under is 47.5 this year. I think this came out at 46.5. I didn't jump on it. At 47.5, I did jump on it, though not as aggressively as I did last year. Remember last year I was able to do some crazy ladder where I put like $100 and then 50 and then 30 all the way up to, I think, 40 wins, and I could have gone further. This year, I just put $50 on over because that feels about right. You know, with the trajectory of the team, you would think we could do better, but just because the record doesn't maybe come out better than last year doesn't mean that the team isn't in a better position going into the playoffs. You know, that just because the record doesn't pan out doesn't mean that the team isn't better. And I just think that, I mean, that's a tall order to get, for anybody to get 47.5 wins with the East getting better. Everyone's getting better too. Like we're not unique in that sense. So we're going to have to play some teams. I took the over, but I'm not aggressive with it. I don't know if I'd go to like putting on money on 50 plus wins where the juice could be a little bit better. What are you thinking about the win target, Peach?
Yeah, if we had 47 wins last year, there was definitely a lot of games that were close, that got away from us, that we could have won. You'd like to think with another year of experience underneath that, you know, of those close games that were like 3 points or less, maybe there's 10 of those games. We should be able to win at least half of those now. Mm-hmm. To me, that puts us over or right around 50. So I would definitely bet the over on this.
Okay.
We're basically bringing back some of the same squad with a few tweaks. So I think if this team is full together and brings it like they can, you know, last year we kind of struggled a little bit down the stretch too, because we could have finished with the second best record at one point.
Right.
East, which is crazy to think about, but honestly, we were in that mix, right? So, I mean, a few games going a little bit different in our favor, it can easily get to 50. So I would definitely take the over here because I don't think 48 or 49 is crazy either.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll sauce a little bit on 50. What we did great last year was taking care of the under 500 teams until the end of the season, as you just mentioned. So if we continue with that and then are able to hang on to some games against the better teams, you're right. Maybe 50 for this young team, and we're playing with a chip. I think I like it. Pisha, I have a little off script here for you. I just want to give you in the first. I want our over under wins here for our October. So these are the teams we play: the Heat, the Nets, the Grizzlies, the Pacers, and the Bulls. 5 teams. How many wins we get in there? Over under 2.5.
The over under is 2.5. I mean,
no, I'm just setting it.
There. Okay. I say we get at least 3.
Yeah. You think we get 3 wins there?
I mean, yeah. I mean, unless the team starts slow, it's very difficult to predict that because you don't know how a team's going to come out the gate. Is Franz still going to be tired from Olympic play?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I mean, but those are all winnable games for our team right now, which is not something we've been able to say in the past, especially in the offseason going forward. So this year I would go in confident saying I'd like us to win 4 of those games, to be honest.
Yeah.
But 3 very doable. So if you're setting the line at 2.5, I'll take that.
I've loved the progression of the mindset that we're able to have as fans going into the past few seasons. A couple of years ago, it was just like, well, we want to get the young guys some burn, and we're just trying to we want to see them be competitive in the games. And then the next year, you're like, no, I know that we can compete with any team. And then this year, it's like, yeah, we can beat any team. So that progression has been really lovely as a fan. Very much looking forward to seeing how we do in October and the rest of the season. All right.
The growth flower strikes again. It's so big now, everybody. And speaking of growth flowers, look at these babies.
Oh, what do you got there, Peach?
These are actual seeds from the Langan wedding that they gave away. And I've been growing them here in a pot. So I'm getting an actual growth flower to go along with the team.
Oh, my God. I'm so proud right now. I'm so proud. Proud cousin moment. All right. I don't know if there's any talking here. I just wanted to include these, Peach. Paulo right now to lead the league in scoring points per game average is at plus 42,000. He was the only Magic player listed there. And Jalen to lead the league in steals per game is plus 6,000. I like that one. Right? Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just because the odds are so big.
Yeah. 100 to win 6,000, but 10 to win 600.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it.
I think so.
How's that not worth it?
Okay.
That just makes sense. Why not? I'd throw $5 down on Paulo to lead the league too, because those odds are astronomical.
Yeah.
Because then if he does it, it's great. That's fantastic.
It's a down payment on a house right there.
Man, I love all these low bets like this. I wish I could bet again. I had my fun when I was there, though.
Oh, my God, Peach. Peach was on a heater. So there's no gambling in Texas. You can get all the guns you want, but no weed or gambling. It doesn't make sense to me. And so Peach can't gamble. And so he comes, and Peach isn't necessarily – he's a sports betting guy. But really, Peach is a casino marvel. He's a casino just extraordinaire. And so he gets back to Connecticut, and he's just – there's a little itch. There's just a little itch there, Peach. And you scratch this. You scratch that sucker. And tell the people how your time went in this beautiful state of Connecticut.
I was on a heater, my friend, that was it was amazing how many times I got to take money out.
Yes.
Put it back in my bank account.
Yeah, you made money on the trip.
I did because there was a lot of free meals along the way as well, and then free lodging. So it was like, it's one of the first times I've been on vacation and come back up.
Yeah.
Which was great. You know, it was able to pay off some things and have some fun, and then that was good.
Will you share your total winnings number?
I don't know what the total winnings is.
Roughly. Let's give us a rough.
I mean, I don't want the government to know, but it was.
Let's just play Marco Polo, and I'll say numbers, and you tell me if I'm getting closer.
I did win on thanks to Nadra's brother.
Yeah,
a hot tip on the UFC fight. And we did
that's right.
Money on that one too. So
nice.
It wasn't just casino. We mixed it up with some other stuff.
Oh,
that made that a lot more fun to watch. I'm not really that huge a UFC guy. I'll watch it if it's on, but knowing we had some skin in the game, and it was like, all right, let's go.
That was a true badass moment for you. I know you already had some clink in your pocket because you'd already had a couple big wins on the, what are they called? Those machines, the spinny ones? Slot machines.
Spinny ones.
Slot machines. And I just heard this story, so I'm retelling it. But Peach is hanging out with my new in-laws, and they're watching UFC. And as he said, he got a tip from my brother-in-law, who just said out loud, "Oh yeah, this guy. If I had $100, I'd throw it on him right now. He's winning for sure." And Peach just goes, just silently, he doesn't say anything about it. Just on his phone, puts $100 on that guy, and he's like, "All right, I did it." And then my brother-in-law is, "What? No, you did it?" "No, I just did it. You said, right?" And then he's like, oh shit, all right. And Peach, the gentleman that he is, when it won, you gave him some money for the tip.
We split that, baby. That
split it? That was all your green, dude. I don't know, split 60-40 at least. You're a generous man.
First of all, not only would I not have bet on that, but I wouldn't have known who to bet on.
Yes.
But the person he told me to bet on was the guy with the better odds. So
okay. And Peach loves a good odds, so that was just written in destiny there. Okay, all right.
I still made money watching something that I still enjoyed watching while doing nothing. So it was like, hey, it's a win-win. It's good times.
All right, Peach, you ready for it? It's humongous. So. You ready? You want to take a breath? You good to go?
Yeah, usually you shout out the All-Stars again and second cousins, or you're not?
Yeah, of course I do. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Shouting out Bolby the Dawn, Magic Player, History, Paulo and Franz's Warmth, Dylan Holden, Drum, Matthew Bell, Dan Young, Gloria and Damien, and Connor. Shout out to all those folks on the Patreon. If you can, spare $5 a month to go on over there and help with the expenses of the show. It's about probably $2,000 a year. We'd greatly appreciate it to help us continue bringing this magic content to the universe. Like and subscribe. Is that good, Peach? Ready to go?
That was good. It gave me enough time to stretch out a little bit.
You're ready. Now he's ready. Okay.
I'm now ready. Now I'm ready for the large ending. And I've got a button right over here that will start the music. It's a National Baseball Hall of Fame button.
Ooh. All right, Peach. We were just talking about over-under, so I'm going to start this one with another over-under for you. The NFL season is starting. Peach is a Broncos and a Bills supporter, so I'll give you over/under passing yards for Josh Allen, 3,800 yards. What say you, Peach? How you feeling about your Bills and Josh Allen this year?
Well, I don't know a lot of the gentlemen that he's throwing it to, so that is my qualm. But if even with that, I will take the over, just because I don't want to bet against my man Josh.
No, you can't do that.
No. We talked a little bit about your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone always talks about this core memory.
Mm-hmm.
What is your core memory from the wedding day? Let's just keep it right to that day, because there's a lot of stuff going on around it. But what's your favorite core memory? You think that, like a really vivid moment that stands out, even if it was, sometimes it's just, somebody throwing a cupcake at somebody else's face. It doesn't always have to be, but it's just something that you vividly remember.
Yeah. Or licking frosting off somebody. Yeah, that happens sometimes. I think my core memory, it would probably be, I see the aisle, our person who's doing the ceremony, I forgot, the name is slipping me off the top of my head. I can see her, the aisle is there, everyone's kind of like looking back, I'm with my parents, and I'm just kind of like breaking down, crying on their shoulders because of how much love I have for them in this moment, and it just kind of all was really overwhelming, but I got it together and we had a nice walk down the aisle, and just to see my mom so happy and my dad so happy, I think that was probably a moment I will never forget. I would also say the first look, which we did before the ceremony, was very meaningful to me, and really just crystallized everything, and the love I have for my wife, Nadra. So those two moments, because of the overwhelming amount of love that I felt, I couldn't even contain it all in my heart. So it was pouring out of me, man. It was so beautiful, both of those.
I can confirm it poured out of you.
Yeah.
You led the league. I think of anyone else at the wedding, I think you cried the most.
I did.
I don't even think that's a debate.
No, it's not. It's not. No one's challenging that. All right, so something that wasn't great about the wedding, though, if I must say, Peach, is the amount of strays that the Orlando Magic caught. It was just in the speeches. My boy Connor and Jacob, guys I've known forever, both throwing shots at the Orlando Magic, not at the Court Cousins podcast. They were respectful of the podcast, but as to why we would want to do it and all this, how it brings up qualities about me.
It was well spotted.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I just wanted to say that story, but and as an interlude to asking you, what was your biggest takeaway from the wedding? What did you enjoy most?
I was really shocked by that, to be honest. Quite a bit.
We were making eye contact.
I was standing at the back of the room, just kind of listening to them all, and even the bridesmaids take a little shots.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on? Everyone kept turning and looking at me, and I'm like, what is going on here? But to be fair, I was lucky enough to actually speak in your wedding, which was a great honor, and I appreciate that. I got to read a poem about a meadow and how you're going to build a garden in the meadow, which also goes with the growing of the plants. It's quite a whole thing. But
I cried during it.
That aside, at the end of it, I did say "Go Magic" at the ceremony. So we had some positive stuff going into it, and maybe it opened that ability to jam the knife in
a loving way.
In a
loving way.
It was a loving way, but it was interesting. And plus, Connor, he's a Patreon, so he can say what he wants.
The OG, yeah, he can say he's earned that, right?
No, I think I really enjoyed the outdoor setting. It was a little warm for coats and sleeves and things of that nature. But I think I'll remember that venue you had for the after party. It was, if you showed up there at night and were alone, it would be a place you don't want to be. It looked like an abandoned building that is dangerous. But because it was done up well, and there was a lot of people in there that looked like they were having fun, and there was a band up there that was rocking, and everybody danced. I got to see your dad dance, which is something I didn't have on my bingo card. And it was great. I saw all of our family dance except my dad. He didn't come cut a rug, but everybody else, I didn't have that on my bingo card, and it was cool to see all that. We don't get together for fun moments much anymore. It's usually a sad moment that we get together for. was just great to have us all there for something that was celebratory. And it meant a lot to me to be a part of your day, be there for it, but also just to have all of our family having fun and meeting with your family as well. Like and meeting with Nadra's family, I hung out with them a lot. It was a good time all the way around. I'm still working on trying to write my thoughts down about this the whole period of time. Is way too long, as was this answer here on the large ending. So let's move to the next one and keep it on to your honeymoon. You were in Ireland. You said you met up with some family. What would you say if you had to say the best thing you did in Ireland? What was the thing you enjoyed the most?
So I'm doing the same thing I did last time. I'm going to answer this and then throw it almost right back at you. So I'm sorry I was not creative, but I am curious about your answer. The best thing about Ireland, it was fantastic. We did all the southern coast, was going up to the northwest of the country, County Mayo, to my family's ancestral home. I have never met another Langan my entire life living in the United States. Never. And then you go up to this place on this freaking rock in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and there are Langans everywhere. I mean, we did visit the cemetery with the graves of some of my ancestors, and the whole freaking cemetery is like Langan tea. It's like a few names, this is all these families that were right here. But I went to the sheep farm that my great-grandfather bought in 1911. Just after the British landlords had been ousted. Actually, prior to, he bought it from a British landlord. I learned a lot about Irish history, and I learned a lot about my family history, because that farm is still in the Langan family and still working. 300 sheep. I got a tour around that. I met a part of my family that was like essentially my dad's great uncles and aunts, and they were telling me about the genealogy and some stories about the family. And at this time where I'm kind of transitioning in life, it's a big kind of changing point. To reroute into family and where I come from was the best part of it. That was the best part of it. And it made me curious to look more into my mom's side and the genealogy. So I'm kind of throwing this back at you. Have you ever done any family tree digging, either on the Pichet side, and I'm sorry I don't know the last name, on your mom's side? You can throw it in here. You ever done any of that? How far back do you know?
I was given something that had a basic family tree on it one time from someone.
Okay. Which side?
I don't know if I have it. I think it was specific to me, so it kind of branched out a little bit.
Okay.
In both ways. But I think it was mostly people who I could, for the most part, name. Like even our parents' uncles, who I never met, but I've heard their names spoken, so I've seen it go back about that far. But yeah, I don't, not very far at all is the actual answer here that you're looking for, right? Not as far as maybe I'd like. I know there's ancestry.com, and there's lots of those .coms, and I figured maybe at some point I'll do something like that, but I know there's a huge Pichet family reunion that takes place in Quebec every year, where there's 200 to 300 people with the last name Pichet, and even some of them that get together don't even know that if they're related. Because I met a guy. There's another guy in ICE in Ontario that his last name is Pichet, and I've met him before at a conference when we talked about it. He's the one that told me about the family reunion. He's like, if your last name is Pichet, you can just come. It's just there.
Who knows? Maybe
we don't even know if we're all related, but we have the same last name, so we just keep getting together. It's kind of a common name there. So.
All right. Well, maybe we'll have to dig into the Pichet line together.
Lastly, that would be nice. I would like to do it. To get to end it on some basketball.
Okay.
Have you heard about the brewing feud between Ice Cube and FIBA? Because 3-on-3 basketball was also in the Olympics, by the way.
God.
For some reason, I don't know why we would just take it'd be like if they had a breakaway contest in hockey during the Winter Olympics. It's a part of the game, but it's not really the full game. And it's why? Why are we doing this? Why is playground basketball somehow in the Olympics now? We've got basketball. We don't.
Yeah, well, Ice Cube would disagree. He'd say it's its own sport, and he's coming for the neck of FIBA. He called them out. He said he wanted to, bring all of the national teams and the medalists together to play for one big, huge prize and make it a big thing, and bring in some of his 3-on-3 teams from the Big 3 league. It's a great marketing stunt, man. Ice Cube is making that money and not mad at him. I'm just so confused. Like, do NBA guys in the league, they feel it's such a slight to not be on the main team that they would never play for the 3-on-3 team because they don't even view it as basketball? Like, don't you think, wouldn't like Paulo, like that would have been sick, like to win a gold medal in the 3-on-3? But I guess guys just don't want to do that. It's not a
Jimmer
good look.
Fredette was on the Team USA, so it's
that's
not
what I'm
like
saying. Like, that's the bar, dude. Jimmer Fredette. He was relevant like 10 years ago. That's the best that we could do for this? That's the best? Come on, man. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, Cube's got a good point. If you're going to send over the best team and there's a league of 3-on-3, send over the winner of that league. Or, I don't know, get all your players from that league. Should be, I don't like 3-on-3 being in the Olympics, but if it's going to be, it should be kind of treated the same way as basketball 5-on-5 is. You let all the guys in the 3-on-3 play for whatever countries, because they're playing it regularly. They should be better than any Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street, right?
Yeah.
Like,
they could, I mean, yeah, I don't get it. Well, I think it's still going to be in the Olympics, unlike breakdancing, which is now out, and everyone's just killing that Australian chick, dude.
I almost put that in here.
That poor woman, dude. I feel sympathy. Well,
no, I feel no sympathy. She got a free trip to the Olympics.
That's true. I don't know,
nothing.
dude. I wouldn't take all the hate she's getting.
It sounds like the plot of an Adam Sandler film or something.
It does.
Right? Like Rob Schneider is the breakdancer. It's like he gets a free trip to Johnny Knoxville, just tricking people and getting into the Olympics. Like it's too ridiculous that it actually happened. So in a way, I say like kudos to her. She got a free trip out of the thing.
Well, with breakdancing out, Peesh, that might leave an opening for podcasting. And let's just put in our bid right now for the 2028 Court Cousins. Let's represent USA. USA.
I'm holding out for the Juice Games. I'll sit here pounding monsters and podcasting for hours on end. For you, America. Don't call me unpatriotic.
Oh man, Peesh, I wasn't really in the mood to do this when we got on, and I'm leaving with good feelings and laughs. Thank you, man. That's in big part because of you. Thank you, Second Cousins, for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Peace out, everybody.
Thanks for coming.